think the music community helps me because my music is therapeutic to my life through my voice. Try to let the world know that, hey, you got somebody right there that's experiencing this.
This is Raina Carrillo with Purpose and Passion. And I'm excited today because I have one of my good friends in the building over here in Inglewood, California, which is our hometown, Byron, aka Young Dopey Castillo. So I'm happy you're here. Finally, I get my interview.
Yeah, it's long overdue, you know. I want to thank, everybody here and especially you, for the patience and all that. But, I've been going through a rocky road and working very, very strong. But we finally here and here to represent for the city. And not only that, for the culture, uh, for the music culture, for everything out there. Like, this is some exclusive.
That's good. Well, take the viewers down memory lane. Where were your parents from? Because the culture, for me, culture is important. Kind of giving the viewers of where your parents are from, where were you born and raised, and how did you crawl on 106th Street as a baby? Inside joke.
Yeah, it's an inside joke. Yeah, well, my family is both from Guatemala and Mexico. So my family comes from the border. We're from Cacahuatan, Mexico, and from Guatemala, Guatemala City, and they crossed the border over here. And the first place they migrated to is Inglewood, California. And I don't know, man. I can't let it go. I gotta represent for my ancestors and
Yes.
everything, and I don't know if it's tribal, but I'm here and I can't let it go, and I have a romance with Inglewood, California.
That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Well, let's talk about your childhood. How was your childhood growing up, and when did you become an at-risk youth?
Um, you know what? Yesterday, that's a crazy thing that you bring it up. Um, I was talking to one of my good friends, Richard Snoopy from my neighborhood, from our neighborhood,
Yeah.
and I let him know that Norms, that's kind of like a breakfast branch. It's known for
Yeah.
that was made on Imperial and Crenshaw, and he was just amazed. He was like, "Wow," because back in the day, Norms was on Century.
Yes, it was on Century.
So I let my family then and there. My mother too was just like damn, mijo, like we're here, and
Yes.
she was very blessed. We got excited about it. People might not care about it, but for us, it's huge.
Yeah, it means
You know.
something.
So he said like, "Hey, Dopey, get that big and better breakfast," and then I had forgot about it, but it was a blessing to know that we have small things that celebrate the city, and
Yes.
and my mother did let me know like, "Mijo, I remember when you were younger, and we used to bring you here when you used to get out of juvenile hall to Norms on Century,
Yeah.
and here we are now on Imperial, and it's it's a big mixture of feelings there because you
Yeah.
start thinking about your loved ones that are incarcerated and the people that are out here enjoying freedom and get to see the how Inglewood has evolved.
Yeah.
As a city, like we're more, we have more businesses, we have more opportunities. And to me that's huge and that's great. Like it's making our community cleaner and better. So I think that back in the day it was not like that.
Yeah.
Back in the day it was a war zone.
Yes, definitely.
Now, and even pulling up over here, I was just
Hmm.
like, hey, who's this guy across the street? And maybe it's my anxiety, maybe
Yes.
it's but that's the type of environment I was raised on, and unfortunately, it gets stuck to my mental.
Yes, definitely. Well, you want to tell the viewers how we met at Stop the Violence, Increase the Peace Foundation when you were a teenager?
Oh yeah. Well, that's how you said at risk youth, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
at
yeah,
risk
yeah,
youth,
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like you're in a transition of going into, becoming at risk youth, and that's what it was.
Yeah. So at that time, I went to jail for a GTA, stealing a car, and I got out. And a part of my probation conditions was to be a part of a program called Stop the Violence, and beautiful, gorgeous Raina was there, um, running the program with some good generals from the city,
Hmm.
and trying to bring structure and peace in a more positive, proactive state. And I didn't see it at that time because I was very you know rebellious. But we were pulling up to Imperial and Crenshaw, and yeah, Raina was behind the desk, always trying to counsel me and ask me how can um, we could make the city better.
Hmm.
How can we make you better? How can we make um, our surroundings better? And also, I was with the generals from the neighborhoods around here in Inglewood. I got to witness all of that. And back to norms.
And the reason why I bring that up is because
Yeah.
Snoopy told me, you know what, Raina, that's crazy because I used to drop off Dopey over there. He's literally on Imperial in Crenshaw. And I'm like, yeah, that's where I worked. And he goes, I knew you worked around there, but I didn't know why I was dropping him off. So I wanted to
Yeah.
mention that.
So that's what I mentioned is that norms is right next to Stop the Violence where I met
Yes.
you.
Hmm.
So yeah, so it's crazy how Imperial Crenshaw has been a big pillar of
In our
yeah,
community.
in our community. It's
Hmm.
definitely there. It has a big sign that says Imperial Crenshaw. You can't miss it.
Yes.
This is-
And so back then, I didn't know you had a desire for rapping. So through your trials and tribulation, you end up going to prison. And when you came out, when was the timing of you getting into the music industry and starting the Six Block? Because that's super inspiring to me. Because most of the times when people are rappers, they need other people to put them on a record label.
Yeah.
But instead, you focused on starting your own record label.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I want you to talk about.
Oh man, I'll break it down. Quickly.
Okay.
I came from a time where we were gravitating to big record companies, and as I was one of the first Hispanics signed to Death Row Records right
Yes.
here in Inglewood, California. I used to be in Center Park, and I used to have the Damos, and which is the blacks, African Americans, and all the Latinos coming up to me celebrating, this big, you know, uh, 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 time.
Accomplishments.
Yeah, yeah, because at that time, Tupac, Suge Knight, Snoop Dogg,
Yes.
Dr. Dre, all of that, and it's still talked about. And yesterday, I was with a good friend Bozo from Pico Nuevo, and I haven't actually talked to him in person, but he even told me that he was in prison, and he was just like, wow, that some Latinos had signed with them. But yeah, we
Yes.
come from that, and at that time we did not have Instagram, Facebook, we did not have social media. Um, but now, moving on, technology has made it very, very easy to socialize,
Yes.
and reach out. So it makes technology puts our talent out there. Obviously, everybody knows things didn't work out with me and Suge Knight. We're still friends, but I just hit the books when I was in prison
Mm-hmm.
and started learning about um, creating your own company. I got my AA degree because I only went to sixth grade right here in
Yes.
Inglewood, California, and I got my GED when I was in YA, And then from prison, they had a youth program, and I studied independently in myself, and I gave my own self knowledge, and I got my AA degree, majoring in business, and I started learning. And also, just to shed light that back in the day too, Latinos did not accept rapping as a part of our culture.
Yeah.
So I used to have to hide my passion of music. When homies used to walk up to my cell, and I used to tell them that I was reading my books.
Oh.
So now, moving on years later, here I am as an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
and the only thing I knew was representing our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And unfortunate, it's unfortunate and fortunate that the gang life was a big part of my life. It was like my football team.
Yes.
The loyalty stands there, and I never gave up on it, just out of loyalty and morals. But now that I'm grown, I did start my company, the Six Block Records, because I was raised right here down the street on 106 and Yukon here in Inglewood, California. And being raised there, I just wanted to, um, you know, give something to the community so they could, look up to someone, or at least, uh, a role model.
Yeah.
Or not only that, just someone to
To look up to, right?
yeah,
Yes. And in a
not only
positive,
that,
right?
but just like come with me. Like, I have I've discovered something. Creating your own LLC. It's not a rocket science. Nowadays you could go on YouTube, you could look
Yes.
it up, how to create my LLC. And then if you don't know how to pay taxes, how to pay my taxes, and then you get blessed with that knowledge. You don't need to go to your older homie in your neighborhood. You can just type it into YouTube, like I said, technology, and um, that pretty much is where I gained confidence, because I knew technology was on my side, and also um, I wanted to make a stand for things that were against us.
Yes, of
You know what I'm
course.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So then when I think about music, I think about the music when you were in I'm not sure if you were in prison or out of prison, but the music that I've listened to before your son, to me it was very personal, not emotional in a bad way, but emotions. It's like emotions about when you would, mention wanting to have a son. When you didn't have one at the time, and now
yeah.
that you have him,
Mhm.
you know, I love seeing you with your son
Oh,
because I
thank you.
remember hearing the music.
The son that I never had.
Yes, and that right there was definitely a deep song to where, like, where do you in general with all your music, like when you rap with your soul,
Yes.
and it's rare. You know what I mean? Because some people, they just rap about cars, females, money. You know what I mean? But then it's just a rap. But when you rap, it's from the soul. It's from the core.
Believing Before Seeing, a new book by Candace Barr, teaching you how to believe into existence. Available now for pre-order.
Yeah.
And so, where do you get that fire from?
Uh, that is um, my music. If the community did not know, the music community is, if anything, I think the music community helps me, because my music is therapeutic to my life.
Yeah.
And I always been struggling. We all struggle. Don't believe these artists that they got these big chains, big cars, like they're just like this blessed child from God. Like, I'm a blessed child from God, but
Yeah.
I struggle every day. you know and I think through my voice, I um, try to let the world know that, hey, you got somebody right there that's experiencing this. Because in the beginning, maybe nobody listened,
Yeah.
but I put my music out there for free. Um, and I'm sorry to compare this to. Can I compare this to drugs on the camera?
Yeah, yeah. No, you
Um,
can.
uh,
It's
okay,
it's the real deal.
so back in the day, like on a period, that I used to sell dope.
Yes.
And they used to try to get me off the streets, but at the same, I didn't want to listen to nobody. So he used to walk up like, Dopey, take your ass home. And
Yep,
I
or
used to
let me
be
take
like,
you home.
you take your ass home. So I'll be right there. And what it was is that to promote my product was to give free sacks,
Mm-hmm.
just so people know that my shit is fire. Can I cuss?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so that my shit is fire. That, hey, come by. At that time, we didn't have Kush. We didn't have none of that. It was just stress or pretendo. But I would give out samples pretty much like they do in Costco. Be like,
Yes.
hey, take this. But my shit was fire.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, I used to sack up the sacks very fat too. So I'm pretty sure the customers were like, wow,
Happy. Happy
this
customers.
guy this guy's sacks are fat and it's fire. So, as an analogy in comparison to my music, I'm glad that I got to see the streets because I did that with
Yes.
YouTube. So I started dropping my music for free. I started making fire music like Sun That I Never Had,
Yes.
Lord Can You Hear Me?
That's my favorite.
Thug's Passion.
Yes, I love that one.
All of those hits that gave me recognition.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where my dope was fire. So that's when people started coming back. And now, look, here I am.
Yes.
And I support my family this way. This is my career, entrepreneur. I got artists under my label, and it's a blessing.
Yes. Well, I also wanted to give you a big thank you, like to give you your flowers now while we're here, by just saying that when I reached out to you regarding giving back to Worthington Elementary for the backpack giveaways, to me, that was important. And you brought your son to show him how it is to give back to people that are less fortunate, right? People that need that backpack and those school supplies. So that's one thing that when you showed up, it meant a lot to me. Not because you're my friend, because I love you, you're my friend, but as a rapper, because people see Young Dopey as a rapper if they don't have a personal relationship with you. You know what I mean? So to see you out there with your son that day giving back to our youth in the city of Inglewood was very beautiful to me, and I like the fact that I could have shared that moment with you and Moko and his dad and the other people that came out. So with that to say, giving back to the community, like, how do you feel about that? You know what I mean? How do you feel about that?
Well, at this point of age and maturity, I just want nothing but greatness and good for my community. I want good for my community. Once upon a time, I was in. I didn't care about the bigger picture.
Yes.
But now, um, being in prison, county jail, in the system, I met a lot of good people from not only Inglewood, California, but from Los Angeles, from big counties like San Francisco, uh, Ventura, San Diego. And, when we're stuck in that messed up situation, we really don't want that for these kids out there, and it's hard. People don't see how we wake up and, the struggle. We're strong. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
Shout out to the homies, everybody incarcerated. Everybody knows we don't want this for our community. So even going to a simple 99-cent store and buying 100 backpacks or whatever it is, it's it gives my heart joy.
Yeah.
And because um, I remember back in the day, even though you see this color blue, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. Shout out to Mac 10. I remember when I was a kid in Rogers Park, he used to do giveaways
Yes.
and I think everybody when they're blessed, you know, they give back. So anything I can do for my community to make it better, I'm there. But don't poke the bear though. That's it, because the bear is there. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about entrepreneurship, like, the branding and what's next with your music and your new artists and things of that nature. People are really excited about what's going to happen, next, that next step.
Yeah, it's definitely a journey and an adventure because um, there's a lot of being in business. It's I don't know if you heard. I think the Japanese has said this: business is war, or
Oh, wow.
So if you become a competitor,
Mm-hmm.
people are not gonna want to see you shine.
Yeah.
So what I do is I push independently,
Okay.
and I push that line real hard, and
Yes.
nobody gonna stop what Young Dopey and the Six Block Records and West Haven Clothing got coming,
Yes.
because we coming for that ass. You know what I'm saying? And we taking names, and you know what? Not only that, it's the game that I attain. There's a lot of people that actually have they sell their knowledge to be like, oh yeah, you can have like a subscription with me monthly just so
Yeah.
you can learn. I know I could do that, but to me, just off my morals, uh, if any man out there has questions on trying to start a business or anything, like I don't mind giving them that
That knowledge.
game.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh-huh.
hey, because I remember when the friends that I thought were my friends, they stood quiet because they didn't want to give me that game.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
just think they didn't want to see me shine.
That goes. It reminds me of that song, "Smiling Faces." It's an oldie song, "Smiling Faces," because sometimes we have people that are so-called friends or acquaintance, and they're in a position where they can help, but they choose not to because they look at you as competition.
Yeah.
And so when you help others, it's beautiful. Like that was like what, 2 weekends ago with your friend that just came out of prison, and he's a rap. He's
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And when we were in the car going to the video shoot, he
Mhm.
was talking about like how he was very inspired and motivated,
Mm.
from that being in the studio, and
Mm.
just the game you were teaching him and educating and empowering him to do was like, man, you know how many people won't even share that, And so you're a rare breed
Yeah.
when it comes to that.
Yeah. I'm a cyber tooth tiger. You know what I'm saying?
You said a cyber what?
Cyber tooth tiger.
Oh,
You
shoot.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, snap.
rare breed. You know what I'm
Rare
saying?
breed.
You ain't gonna find a person like me, but
Yes.
I'm very confident in that because I
Yes.
know firsthand
Yes.
that you ain't. I was never given the game.
Yeah.
I I had to get in there, learn,
Yes.
fall, and make mistakes, and that's why it's taking me a little longer, everybody,
Yeah.
because everybody wonders like, hey, Dopey, why haven't you blown up yet? It's just like I don't think people want to see people like me blow up.
Yeah. But it will
But
happen.
oh no, I'm there already.
Yeah. Nah.
All up in everybody's face. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, but in a proactive way,
Mm-hmm.
because I never, even when I'm there, I always use my energy to make sure that to let them know that hey, I get it.
Yes.
I get it. But I'm not gonna be like you. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why you've been there firsthand for me to help artists out. Like I give that to them. I extend
Yes.
because I felt that pain, that confusion when I
Yeah.
thought my friends was gonna uplift me, But
Yeah.
it's not like that, unfortunately.
Yeah, you had to fend for yourself, but now because you know how it felt with that frustration and a little hurtness, now you're able to help others so they won't feel like you felt.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I don't want. No. It's a. Sometimes your mind plays tricks on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it be the own. It be the your own people that hurt you.
Correct. And that's why not just as your friend, but now that you've blessed me with a new position in your role in the family,
Mm,
you know, managing you,
mm.
you know, I've never done that before, right? I've never done that before when it came to the industry. I
Yeah.
probably done managing in other ways, but in the industry. So when I see the perfection in your art and your music,
Mm,
how you make people feel comfortable to come into the studio,
mm,
how you open your heart like a true Southsider. And
mm.
that's how I mean, because
Yeah.
it's a rare type of, like I
So,
said, you're a rare breed.
Southern Cali. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so to see that and interact in your lifestyle, I respect music in a different level.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And the reason why I say I respect music in a different level, because I remember the first time I went to the studio with you and you were hitting these high pitch and West Side, but it was no music and I'm kind of confused, right?
Mm,
And then you go in and you're doing your bars,
mm.
and then it's not fully finished, but then they press play for the music and then they throw it all in there. And it's like, that is a masterpiece.
It's an art. Yeah.
Yeah, it is an art.
Mm,
So as you have the rough draft that becomes a masterpiece. So now I look at it where I went to an Inglewood event before I went to the studio to and they had Latinos that were singing really beautiful Spanish music.
mm.
For the first time when I'm listening to them, I'm listening with a different ear.
Yeah.
It's no longer just music. I'm listening differently
Yeah.
because you introduced me to that field of music. So I listen to music differently with more of a passion.
Mm,
It's different. So I said, my gosh, like this is weird. So I feel like, what brings people in unity and what brings people together? Food, music, and art.
mm,
So with that to say, I know personally, because everybody knows I talk about God all the time. I love God. He
mm,
brought me through the darkest times of my moment,
mm,
but he also has given me the gift of discernment. So when I say your time is coming, it's coming. And it's going to come so fast, like a domino effect. But it's going to be a beautiful domino effect. And I'm excited to see that happen. So I'm kind of like telling the future in a positive way. So, what do you have in store before we close off on purpose and passion? What do you have in store for 2024? Like, what are your vision and goals?
Oh man, it's just I was so caught up. You see, those are the conversations that I wait for. The ones that you
Yeah,
were talking about right now.
the
The
music.
no, the depthness of
Yeah,
things like that. It's what I gravitate to. Like
yes,
sometimes it's the message. Behind it.
yeah,
And before we close out, I did want to touch on that.
yes, of
It's just
course.
that my shout out to my uncle, my tío Tito. When I was a kid, even before I thought about making music, he was
Yeah,
actually the one that told me that he sat me down and he told me like, "Hey, Mio, music has a lot of power. It could
yes, it
be it could be
does.
the devil and it could be God." And
Yes.
then there's where my uncle was. And to me, I was probably 7, 8 years old, but
Mm-hmm.
like I still remember. You see, I'm
Yeah.
talking about it now. But he told me music has the power to make you move.
Mm-hmm.
It has the power to make you cry.
Yes.
Has
Oldies.
the power to
Whew.
make you happy. It has the power to change people's lives.
Yes.
It has the power to make people angry.
Mm-hmm.
It has like you could
So
only
many
imagine
emotions.
what it is So it goes to the saying that the tongue is mightier than the sword. So any message that we convey as a musician,
Yeah.
and the energy that I give. This is why I tell you every time that I'm done recording
Yes.
and I'll be there in the studio with like 30 people, I'm very tired because my energy it gets absorbed by people
Yes.
and I'm tired. So I try to bring that energy and definitely the tongue is mightier than the sword. So definitely whatever it is that I put on the microphone, maybe I might be talking about poverty, or
Yes.
maybe I might be talking about murder, or
Yes.
maybe I might be talking about suicide, or I might be
Mental
talking
health.
about psychological warfare.
Yes.
I might be talking about um, kids, happiness. I might
Yeah.
be talking about writing on the walls. It's never to promote violence because I don't want that. If
Yes.
anything, I just want to catch those people in those dark times to let them
Correct.
know that, hey, you're not alone. So when you say, this is what I want to touch on, is when you say that my time is coming,
Yeah.
my time is already here,
No, it
baby.
is. But I'm saying for the world to be ready for
Oh no,
you
no,
on the next
no!
level.
I'm letting you know that
Okay. Okay. You already arrived.
I'm already here,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
I've
Yes.
already saved a few people's lives. I've been in the
Yes.
county jail where people write me letters, and even right now in social media, they thank me for saving their lives, telling me like, "Wow, Dopey,
Yes.
like your lyrics, your music." I have mothers write to me talking about when their son died, they played my music in their funerals. Um, I've been in county jail processing where people that are hurting are like, man, like I only have a few gigabytes left, man, of high speed internet, man, but I bump your music, bro, until I go to sleep
Wow.
because they're homeless and this and that. But you know what? That's how I arrive.
Yes.
So if
I
I
hear
if
you.
I help, like I'm already here,
Yes.
So to me, even it's not about money because
Yeah.
I've been there when we make. I've been there with the luxury cars, and I've
Yes.
been there with the houses. But I've also learned from bigger artists that when they have mansions, they got to pay like property tax and this and that.
Yes.
And millionaires now, they don't care about that. If anything, they just care about a small room now. And then they don't even care about luxury cars no more.
Yeah, because I already had it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what they do is they take a Uber or they have a driver.
Yes.
And so as you see, is a simple life. I think is the best life
Yeah.
because you've seen it with me. I
Hmm.
was trying to live a high profile life and all of that, and in the snap of a finger, it could be taken away. But nothing that could be taken away is your morals, your
Yes.
integrity,
Yes.
and who you are as a person, your faith, and that's why I'm right here fighting.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what makes. That's why I'm already here, baby. What you talking
Yes,
about?
you are. You know, no. When you explained it like that, I'm like, yes, you are. You're here, and I'm thinking about like,
Yeah, I get you.
you know what I mean? Like I'm thinking like you about to just smoke people out the way
Yeah.
on a
No.
whole
If
nother
anything,
level.
I want them to join me.
Yes, no, but I'm just saying in general,
Yeah.
because God showed me some things, and I'm just like, hmm. But with that to say, can you share with the viewers how they can find you or purchase your hat? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Find you on social media, YouTube, and things of that nature.
I'm mostly on Instagram, so you can just go to Young Dopey, YOUNGDOPEY. Um, Also, I have www.youngdopey.com. You can find my music there, and also you go to the merchandise section and purchase any of my merchandise on my Shopify online store. Everything that I do it directly. I do it by hand. I do have a team,
Yes.
but I'm very hands on.
Yes.
You know, so I try to make sure that everything's running right. I mean, I was at a point one time where it was expanding, but obviously I had to go on my journey
Mm-hmm.
when my father passed and all of that. But that's a story for next time. But
Yes, part two.
yeah, yeah. So now it's on YouTube also. Watch my videos, Young Dopey, and make sure you subscribe. Like my son says, like and subscribe.
Well, thank you,
Mhm.
Dopey, for gracing purpose and passion. Well, this is Raina Carrillo. Until next time, I would say this show is dedicated to young Dopey's pops and his friend that he lost in Wilmington. Until then, peace, unity, and love.
Ooh.